Johnny Effin Hopper, welcome to the Moto Aftermath show, sir. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Oh, just like that, just quick right into it.
Bro, we're not here to waste time. I know you got stuff to do. I got stuff to do, bro. We're here. We're doing it.
All right, my headphones. I was expecting a small. You caught me in neutral.
I caught
I don't
you.
even have the clutch in or anything.
Bro, I've been caught in neutral all day. Justin and Cole are both sick. Cole was at the AIM Expo or whatever out in Vegas, hanging out with Cooksey, and now all of a sudden he's sick. And then Justin woke up this morning puking his brains out, apparently. So I am solo doing this. I did a monologue about the race. So yeah, here we are. So,
It sounds like a busy man, Travis.
dude, I always am, man. I always am. I did HVAC installation all day in my shop. So, you know, I'm a jack of all trades. I've got insulation work to do this week in the shop expansion. I'm all over the place, man. And in some points I powder coat, and once in a while I ride a dirt bike. So,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Jack of all things.
hell yeah. How goes the crypto world for you?
Oh, let's not talk about it.
It's not going well right now, huh?
No, well, it's all the FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt over inflation and interest rates. I've got some limit orders in right around 30,000. I've got one and a half Bitcoin that I'm looking to try to buy right around 30s. So I'm praying we get down there, but at the same time, like, I don't want us to get down there. So, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I keep checking my Coinbase account, and I'm just like, oh, I can't look at this right now. It makes me sad.
Don't keep opening it. It's almost like Anderson leaving his radiator cap open. You know, just don't do it.
Yep. So, all right. So let's talk racing here, because I'm sure these people don't want to listen to us talk financials. Although we could do a financial podcast too. That would be fun. That would be a good time. Can we do financials and conspiracy theories? Is that a thing, or?
That is totally a thing. You know, I'm full of hot air, so I can just talk.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah. So racing. You brought up Anderson there, so we'll start there, man. Dude, what a disappointment. I said in my maybe I can talk. I said in my monologue that he was the fastest dude on the track last night, period. He had figured out that turn after the whoops, which I decided, I think it was the first qualifying session we could watch on Peacock there, that when you figured out that turn after the whoops, that would be the guy who could win the race last night, because that was the key to that track, essentially. And he figured it out. We saw him take Kenny out. We saw him make some moves on a couple other people in that corner. And then, man, here we are, Kawasaki's again, steaming as they roll around the track. So, yeah, give us your thoughts on that there, Johnny.
That's not a good look, for sure. Those whoops looked scarier than shit. But most of the factory bikes, you know, they've got enough power to stay on top of them. But I agree with you that trying to get through the whoops so you're not dropping your front end, but you're still holding a tight inside was fairly key. It was interesting that nobody started jumping through them. And as far as Anderson goes, I sure hope this doesn't kill his mojo, because, dude, he went through Kenny, he went through Marv, he went through Eli, he went through Dylan. Like, that, I personally think he was going to win the race, and then he was going to set it in stone. Hey, I'm the guy to beat. And Kawasaki is literally the best thing that's happened to him. I still think that Kawasaki is probably the best thing that has happened to him. Maybe it's a little bit more structure over at the team, because he's just one of those wild guys that, I mean, if Krusty Demons was as big as it was back in the 90s, dude, he would be, you know, the poster child for that. And let's just have fun, race dirt bikes, and go swing. However, sorry, I'm digressing a little bit.
No, go for it. I did an hour and 15 minutes of talking about the race. So someone else, please talk about the race on my podcast right now.
nobody knows how hard he has worked at it, and I think his maturity with him being is he 31? Is he 30?
Who are we still talking about Ando?
Anderson.
No,
Yeah.
I think he's
Or is he
only 20,
28?
28 is what I want to say. I think.
Okay. All right. Well, it seems right around 25 or so. The male brain starts to develop into like, maybe I'm not so young and dumb and full of cum. Maybe I need to be a little bit smarter with how things are going. And it's crazy how he's sort of turned everything around since 2018. But it's a compound effect. He's worked his ass off since 2018, and now things are coming to fruition. I personally think, okay, I'm just throwing away like percentages out here. If I had to put a graph on something, a factory bike, 50% of the equation, right?
Sure.
And then 20% of it is talent. You got to have the talent. So then you got 30% left, and that's all mental headspace. Because there's so many guys that if they fit the 50% with the bike, 20% with the talent, but then they just can't quite make it up as far as just racecraft and confidence. Somebody like Webb, who excels in that area. Anderson, after winning the race last weekend in Oakland, and then now here in San Diego, which I personally thought he was going to win. And if he didn't win, he was going to get close, but that was going to be a lot more forward momentum moving to the next race. So I just hope it doesn't kill his mojo like the bike let him down, So that was a hell of a lot of digression to say that it's really a bummer that he didn't follow through and win the race, but he did make it exciting. That's for sure.
He did, and I'm with you on he would have made it very much more exciting had he continued forward there. Obviously, that was a bummer with the whatever happened to the bike. We'll never know. Motor issue is what we're going to hear. But I'm not sold he would have caught and passed Sexton. I somewhat feel that Sexton was just maintaining, and he might have had some more in the tank to go, because he pretty much got to 6 seconds and just chilled as far as I can tell, because I was keeping a pretty close eye, and he was pretty much 6 across the board there as far as laps went for maintaining there. So
when did his bike start doing that to him?
I don't
right
remember.
Around halfway point?
I don't remember.
I'd have to look at the laps. But.
Yeah, I take notes and but then some things like that, it's like I took a note that the bike was steaming, but I didn't take a note as to what time it was. So I have to improve myself on certain things like that. So, all right. So moving on here, I'm sure you've heard of this now. The Barsha on Bogle hate crime here. Have you managed to locate?
Where he just kind of almost just Brian Deegan the bike right into.
No. That was
Barsha.
That was the second part of it. Apparently, Barsha committed a hate crime on Bogle before that, and that's what caused Bogle to do what he did. So yeah, I haven't seen the video.
I was wondering because it seemed a little bit like I was on the track or something. Like, oh shit, there's somebody right there. Let me just move over, cut him off, and yeah, I was surprised to see that. I knew that there was probably more to the story with that, but Bogle was a lapper for a while. So did he go down originally because of Barsha?
I'm not
maybe where we're getting at.
So I'm not 100% sure. So what I know now, I've heard on I was listening to the post race interviews on the Schmalpamex channel over there. And he interviewed Bogle, and Bogle's usually pretty chipper, in his interviews. He's never like rah, but he's chipper. He was pissed. You could tell he was pissed. And from the way they were talking, like Barsha just annihilated him in the corner. I think it was the corner before the whoop, or not the corner before the whoops, the corner before the finish line. So that was what had transpired, and then Bogle obviously did what we all saw on TV. Now, the funny thing is, and I don't tell me how stupid I am for this, So I'm watching the broadcast, right? And I'm as much of a normie watching the broadcast as you can be. I listen to what the guys are saying because, Ricky, sorry, does have some insights once in a while because he's Ricky Carmichael. But Ricky sees that and goes, oh, he stalls the bike, gets it restarted, and then just, hits him or whatever. And my dumb ass being on the East Coast and it's, almost 1 o'clock in the morning watching this race, I'm just like, oh, yeah, that's what happened. And I go to bed. And then today I see the whole thing of Barsha getting...
I love Carmichael's analysis of like the crashes because it's
dude,
it just makes me laugh. But in his defense, there's the instant replay. It's all live, so he can't. I mean, however, just earlier that race, I guess I don't even need to. Fuck it. I already jumped into it. I heard him talk about the low siding in the start, and it was really because he was like, oh, they just went into the first corner too hot. And he was like, well, no, like Hunter's just cutting them off kind of a thing. But no, I hear you. And what sucks with that whole deal with Bogle is on TV, you're all of a sudden kind of national enemy number one because you don't see what transpired before.
Yeah.
You just see the aftermath of it. So somebody not digging for information could just be like, oh, look at Bogle. What a dick move to Bam Bam. And, like that was uncalled for and you didn't, you don't have the whole story.
Well, my big thing is where I went, man, Travis, you're such a fucking idiot. Bogle rides a Suzuki. So in today's day and age where we all have electric start, I'm just thinking like, oh yeah, he stalled it. He hit the start button. He didn't have the clutch in, and like, boom, that's what happened.
Kickstarter, don't they?
Yeah, they have a Kickstarter. So dumbass me, I'm like, you fucking moron. He would have had to have literally stopped, put his leg down, pulled the Kickstarter out, and kicked that thing. Like he didn't stall that. And then when you watch it back after that, you go, oh yeah, he didn't stall that. He knew Barsha was coming, and he waited and was just like, boom, bitch. So. Yeah, that'll be interesting to watch going forward. Now, one thing I did say in my monologue is, okay, Barsha's got the Bam Bam name. Everyone, it seems like, has talked about this. Last year, we had him and Tomac screaming at each other after the main in one of, I think, the Houston races or whatever, basically with Tomac saying, like, have you ever fucking passed anybody clean? So my question is, and I don't think there was anything wrong with what the AMA did last night. I do think the Bogle punishment was a little bit harsher than maybe needed to be.
We'll shed some light because I haven't looked into it.
Barsha,
did they DQ him or did they just find him?
No, they DQ'd him, and then Barsha got one spot. So it's like my real question is, okay, how many more times do we let Barsha do this before, like, you say, okay, that's it, you're out for a race or something? Because this isn't a secret that this is how he rides. So at some point, and we've all seen it. I mean, we've had Anderson in A1. Oakland was pretty mellow. So, like, okay, there wasn't anything there. Now you've had this hate crime is what I keep using, which is not what it was. But anyway, hate crime on Bogle. Like, how many more times do we have to see stuff like this from him before you actually give him a punishment where it's like something substantial and he goes, okay, maybe I shouldn't ride quite this way. And I like the rough riding to an extent, but man, at some point it's like, dude, come on, man, like let's just see not that for some time.
Well, okay.
Or tell me I'm way off base. You can tell me I'm way off base too. Sometimes I'm a fucking idiot.
No, you're right. It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. And I've heard from the powers that be that the rules are guidelines. They're not necessarily rules.
Yeah.
So they can change them as they see fit. And if you DQ Barsha, well, his title hope is completely gone, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't want to just completely do that to a guy because you lose all motivation from him. And, he is kind of one of the stars of the sport, and he's promoting a lot with his BAM TV on YouTube now. And, he's bringing a lot of content and some new viewers to the space. And But with that being said, it's happened in a few races now in a row. Well, not necessarily in a row, but from A1 to race 3, like it's consistent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the punishment needs to be not just based off of round 3, but prior issues. And
Yeah.
I would probably say it needs to be a little bit more severe. With Bogle, it sounds like his punishment was more severe because he got DQ'd. But I believe the dude was already down a lap and a half or two. So, like, it's what are you going to do? You know, and I think more than anything, even points wise with these guys, it's kind of just a small slap on the wrist because, yeah, their bonus structure with their pay is based on how they finish. But I guess if you really, really want to make them stop and think of something, well, you know, you fine them a substantial amount. And I guess it would be up to the race director to make that call. You don't notice I've got quotations and over the phone here with my voice,
Air
but
quotes.
it would need to be a substantial fine to make them go, that's not okay,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to endanger another rider because, you know, let's face it, these guys are going down like bowling pins. You just let them take themselves out and they'll take themselves out because they'll make silly decisions like AC for not effing taking time to let himself heal, because now he might be out the entire season, and that whole thing just pisses me off too.
Yeah, that was
So
a mess with him going off, and I had him on my fantasy team, and I was really pissed for a second, and then I went, oh wait, no, I took him off, so so the piss got a little bit less, but yeah, that is a sad state of affairs of like coming in injured with the shoulder, and like I see it to an extent with that, especially with that because he can't hurt the shoulder any worse, you know. They didn't know what Anderson
yeah,
was
but the
going to do.
shoulder's not the shoulder is sorry, Travis. The shoulder is compromised. The
Yeah,
integrity of your strength is compromised, and that's how he just got hurt again. Is you're not giving it time to heal.
yeah.
You know, I've got an A3, a grade 3 separated shoulder too. And, you know, my orthopedic surgeons say that, oh, we'll fix it when you're done riding, because if you fix it, chances are if you fall down again on your shoulder, we're going to break everything you had. But, you know, you should rehab it and get it strong again. And I know from experience that it took me 3 to 4 months before I felt to where like I could do muscle ups and pull ups, and it, you know, yeah, it clicks funny, but the strength was there. And if you're racing against these guys at the elite level, you need to not only have faith in the motorcycle that the radiator cap's not going to come off or something drastic and the motor isn't going to go kabooey on you, but you also need to have confidence and faith in your body that if you're going to hit these giant 15 set of 100-foot tall whoops, fourth gear pinned, you don't want to at the end of it be like, oh, I just let go of the handlebars because I can't physically hold on anymore. You know, adrenaline will only take you so far. And I think that this is a immature, stupid move. Yes, I'm saying immature, stupid move by the people that are behind AC in his corner, because I do get that it's a contract year. So you want to perform. You got this guy, Jason Anderson, that come in and kind of stealing your thunder because you're supposed to be the guy winning for Kawasaki, and look who does it. It's kind of the wild card. So that's not looking good. And, you know, you still want to have a strong stock of Adam Cincerillo for next year so that you could get on a different team or stay on the same team, you know, whatever. However, his stock's not looking very good right now if you can't even race your last season because you were injured, and then that led to even more injuries. It was just stupid. I personally think if AC would have just stopped and been like, okay, I'm going to miss a third of the Supercross series, maybe even half. And then he's going to come in and he's going to upset all the points, because I don't think anyone can argue that he is one of the most talented riders on a Supercross track. Like, the dude is just amazing of raw talent. And if he's always been very strong mentally. Like you could just tell that the kid reads and is looking for like a little bit of an edge. And I personally think if he would have just taken the time to heal, rehab, comes back, doesn't get surgery, because that surgery takes like 6 months and you can't ride, you can't do anything. But give him the time to heal. Okay, digression over. And he would have been winning some of the races at the end, and his stock would have been higher than anything, because it's like, oh, he just needs a full season now because look at how many races he's won and look at how fast he is. But the complete opposite happened. I just, the whole thing makes me mad. Like, this is why the sport these guys, everyone is just so concerned about right now, and your career is short enough. You shouldn't make it even shorter by doing something silly, especially riding a motorcycle can promise, because let's face it, there's 17 rounds. Guys are going to be injured because they're going to have some sort of a practice crash, some sort of a qualifying crash, just overworked, underfed, underslept, something, broken toe, broken hand, halfway concussed, whatever. They're going to have some shit happen to them throughout the season that they're going to have to overcome. Let's not add on to it by having a fairly gnarly injury that's going to prevent you from controlling the motorcycle up to the level of it being safe. And not only is it not safe for you, but it's not safe for the riders around you if you just lose control for some reason.
Yep.
So that's how I feel about that whole deal. I'm more mad about the whole AC and lack of guidance there than I am about anything else that went on with the race.
Now, okay, so let me ask you this: with it being a contract year with him, what do you think going forward? Because this is kind of a debate we're having in group chats here behind the scenes. On my end with stuff is like they're saying, well, AC's career is over, and AC, he's not going to get signed to a factory team, and blah. And I'm like, you guys are full of crap. He's not done yet. As I say, Justin's just hating on Jesus, and God watches you, Justin. So you're in trouble because you're hating on Jesus. All right, so. What do you think? Do you think he'll go to it or stay on a factory team next year, or do you think that this is gonna cause issues here of him being on factory equipment come next year?
Very loaded question. However, if you look at like a lot of different people's careers, whether it's Dean Wilson, Justin Barcia, like they didn't have their shit totally together at some point in their career, and they lost their factory ride. Then they had to come back, dig a little bit harder, and then they got some luck and got back on a factory ride. AC, I just believe that he is one of the most talented riders to be on a motorcycle. So for that alone, I would hate to see him not get a factory ride. But to answer your question objectively, this is not looking good for him, because you've got a bunch of 250 guys that are going to potentially come up. And then, the field has never been...
They're going to change the guidelines, okay? Me and Justin have been arguing about this too. They're going to change the guidelines. We're not going to see as many dudes move up as we think.
Well, maybe they can make career Mike Browns out of people in the 250 class some more. Maybe AC and his agent need to start talking with Husky and Gas and some of these lower tier potential little factory teams, because if he wants he's not going to be a top pick, because he's proven that he can't withstand a whole series, whether it's motocross or indoors, which is sad, because if there's one dude that can win races, it's him. So this is not what just happened. Hurts him more than him, like I said previously, coming in and healing. It sucks that he got hurt, but he should have healed it. But instead, we're having a completely different conversation. And that he's thinking probably something similar. If there's all sorts of rumors going on the internet about, he tore his ACL or what else is going on here. I love it how they pull him out of the race. Kawasaki, at least on the broadcast. They say, "Oh, he's just he's not fit to ride, so we're not going to have him out there." And it was just like, no shit, dipshits. Like, you shouldn't even had him out there race one, you know?
Yeah.
And I personally think him saying, you know, this is my opinion. I'm not projecting anyone else's opinion. I've got a very, you know, straightforward opinion that not always is correct. But I think it was sort of a publicity stunt. I can't even say that word, publicity. You know, screw it. Travis, publicity, did I say it right?
It sounds right to me. Publicity stunt.
Okay. All right. With telling everybody, hey guys, I'm hurt. You know, so if I don't win round one, it's because I'm hurt. You know, because everyone would have been questioned, what the hell's going on with AC if he starts out front and then instantly just falls
Fades
back and he's not fighting. He's letting people by him. You know, he's getting out of the way. And that's not again, I said that this is such a penis measuring contest when it comes to racing. This is a high school, just testosterone filled scenario, the whole industry of racing dirt bikes. And you need to be telling everybody that you got the biggest dick, you're on the biggest meds, you know, my dick touches the floor. That's like the kind of vibe you need to keep telling everybody. And that's how you win races. You know, granted, this is outside looking in because we all know that Johnny was not a Supercross champ, but I'm just trying to get the imagination flowing that's the atmosphere. That's that 30% of that confidence boost that you need. And so if you're going to come into a series at max, you're going to be 70%, you know, because you're leaving 30% off the table there.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point in continuing. You know, if you're the art of war, you never should start a fight that you don't think you can win.
Yep.
And it's you get my point.
Yep. Nope. I get what you're saying, man.
Shouldn't have raced. So that was 5 minutes to just beat around the bush there, in a somewhat derogatory way.
Hey, man, maybe Beta will sign him for next year. I mean, they need somebody to put the bike out front at least at the beginning of the race. So there we go.
Or would have triumphed, man.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, that's another one too.
I know they're just going to make off-road stuff, but
yeah. So
what do you think?
What do I think about him for next year? I don't know. I think I don't think we see him back on Kawasaki. I think Kawasaki's going to kick that can down the road for two reasons. They're going to throw that can out finally for two reasons. Number one, he hasn't really been able to put much together here as we've seen. He's been fast, but he hasn't won races either outdoors or indoors on the 450. And all he did was win like that one outdoor title in the 250 class. So I think he's going to get the boot, and plus I think he needs a change of scenery anyway. He's been on Team Green since he was on Super Minis. You know, it's been years and years and years and years and years. So it's time for new scenery for him. With that being said, I'm not sure any of the current factory teams he goes to. Number one, I don't think Gas runs a second 450 guy until Barsha is gone. Husky, who the hell knows what's going on there? So I think you might see him on one of these new teams. It would not surprise me at all to see him on a Beta or a Triumph next year. Probably Beta, because I don't think Triumph's coming out until outdoors, but Beta I know is going Supercross racing next year. So
yeah, I think Triumph is just making some like off-road headlamp type bikes.
No. Triumph is doing full-blown dirt bikes too. Full-blown. Like Ivan Tedesco and Ricky are testing for them right now. Like
I knew they were doing, but like full blown race motocross ready.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You could line up on a Supercross track with a Triumph type deal.
Yep. 100%. Like Ivan's doing Supercross testing on their bike right now, from what I understand.
Shows you a lot of what I know. So hopefully he's not on the Triumph. You know, hopefully he does get, like, maybe he gets Marv's Supercross only gig. You know, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Marv is another interesting one that's in contract this year, and I would not be surprised to see him on a different brand either, because I think he somehow talked his way into this KTM deal, but I don't think KTM wanted him for some reason, which is super fucking weird. But also, it's like Marv's a Supercross only, but Marv has not said he's retiring after this year. So I don't know. And as I've said on a couple of previous shows too, like I've heard that Beta and Gas are coming. Like Beta for sure next year Supercross, not Beta and Triumph. Sorry, Triumph. I've heard maybe motocross. They're not sure on the Supercross deal yet for next year. Just for when they start. But Beta's full blown. Beta has Michael Lindsay's old semi. They are in it. And Triumph, from what I'm hearing, we should see an announcement with an actual bike intro type deal like March-ish is what I'm hearing. So we'll see. Yeah. Sorry, man. I got way too much information. But
no.
But I don't know. Good. I don't know if you've heard our new hook line. This is the most uninformed podcast out there because we know nothing. So whatever. It's fine.
Is that from people, keyboard warrior type shit?
No. It was there was a shot fired at us, and again, we have never been named specifically on another show that a shot has fired. The show rhymes with Schmolpamex, and the guy rhymes with Schmal Sparabinos. That there are guys, and the insinuation was very heavy towards both us and yourself as to being uninformed about things.
Yeah, well, fuck them. Everybody needs competition, and
well, fuck them. Oh, I love you, Johnny. I fucking love you, buddy.
There's room for all of us in here, So
yeah, dude, I don't care. It
get
gave
off
me
your high throne, and
dude, it gave me the best hook line ever to be the most uninformed podcast out there. Like that's fine. We're the most uninformed podcast catchy. Out there. We know absolutely nothing. I definitely didn't know that Deegan was going to. Star, we were fucking idiots for that, much like Coach caught a bunch of flack for that one too. What the fuck else have I called in the last couple of years here that like just stupid shit that like we find out through the grapevine, but we didn't know anything. We know nothing over here. We have no sources. We're not reliable. We're uninformed. So,
well, what's cool is you guys can be more unfiltered too.
Yes,
because you don't have as much corporate propaganda holding you back to try to steer anybody in a certain direction. There's a Kurt Cobain said that I would rather be hated for who I am than loved for somebody that I'm not.
Yep.
Something along those lines.
Exactly. In fact, I don't know if you saw, I was on Cooksy's podcast last week, and I told him, I was like, look, man, if any sponsor ever told me, in fact, actually, no, I didn't say it on the podcast. I went in the comments, which was a stupid idea, but somebody was making some comment, and I basically commented back and said, look, if any sponsor ever told me what I could and couldn't fucking say, I would send them their money back so fast, it would be fucking ridiculous, and I would tell them where to fucking stick it, because, like, no way. I'm going to say what I want, when I want. If I have to fund this whole thing myself, I fucking will. No problem. I've been doing it for years. I made the decision years ago when I got turned down for media passes, when we were getting 5,000 views of video and they still wouldn't let us in as media. I made the decision of fuck them. I will spend my own money to go to the races and pay to get stuff filmed at the races where they can't say shit about it. Even if I got to film it on a fucking cell phone, no problem. So
yeah, it almost makes it power to you, Travis. Power to you, because it almost makes the rite of passage to enter the club. It almost makes it seem like, why even bother? Just start our own club. Right?
Yeah. That's the thing.
We'll be our uninformed media, whatever.
Yep. So. Well, and I go through my list of sponsors, which is longer than hell now, but it's basically all companies that will either let me say whatever I want, totally support me saying whatever I want, or anything like that. And if, like I said, if they don't want me to, then you don't need to be a sponsor of the show. I mean, as you know, I'll start my own damn companies and support this thing 100%. I mean, we're doing it right now. I went off on a tangent last week because, so I don't know if you've seen, we've been doing a video series. It's called From the Stands. At each race, Sater from Clutch Media goes and he's filming vlogs for Kevin right now. and then he'll do like Meshy's vlog and
Yeah,
stuff.
he does a good job.
Yeah. And so I talked to him and he's like, yeah, man, I can do that for you, you know, whatever. And so I pay him to film at the races for us because obviously I can't go to all of these races. I'm not financially that stable yet. So I pay him to do that for us. And they won't give him a press credential to go on the floor and film. And I freaked out last weekend when Kevin was on because I'd ask about that. And he said, no, they won't give him one. And I'm like, you know, it's just such bullshit because you've got like, okay, BAM TV and Team Fried, okay? And I'm cool with that. It's fucking videos that are getting out there with sides of stuff we don't get to see and footage we don't get to see. Those guys are on the floor filming, okay? But someone like Sater, who is a proven filmer, he's a proven moto guy, he knows what he's doing, he knows where to go and where not to go and all this shit like that, he can't get a fucking press pass because fuck the here we go again. Fuck the privateers. They don't need to make any fucking money having cool fucking videos. No. Fuck them. But the guys that are making the fucking money, oh yeah, hey, here's a press pass for your film guy. No fucking problem. Like, I'm honestly surprised AC's guy doesn't have a fucking press pass to go on the floor. So it's the dumbest fucking thing ever, dude. Like, absolutely fucking stupid. I'm sure AC could get one if he really wanted to for his dude. I don't know that they care to do that side of it. But these fucking guys like this, like, that are privateer heroes, that are paying fucking guys out of their pockets so that we can all go in and see the guys that everyone wants to see, you know, because they're the guys they can relate to. Like, fuck them. No press pass for you. Fuck off. Okay, fine. Then fuck you guys. We'll do it our own way. We'll do it from the stands, and you can go fuck yourselves. Like, and I'm sure Sean Brennan's listening to this one too, and I'm sure he fucking still doesn't like me. But again, if he wants to talk, or Prater wants to talk, or fuck even Davey Coombs wants to talk, no fucking problem. I'll talk to any of you guys anytime. We'll put it on a podcast. We'll talk off the fucking record. I really want to talk to Sean Brennan. Like, I really want to talk to Sean Brennan because he creeps on me. And it's like, dude, you can creep in the shadows, but I know you're there. And I want to talk to you, bro, because I want to know why after 5 years and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of views, I can't get a fucking press pass. Not that I want one this year because there's certain restrictions that are in place because of certain things that are going on that we're not going to talk about because I don't want to get kicked off YouTube. So I don't even want one this year. But in years past, there's no fucking reason I shouldn't have had one. End of rant. Moving on.
Yeah, you needed to say what you needed to say. At least have some sort of a path. Or you got to meet this requirement.
Here's the path. If you don't say what they want you to say, they won't fucking let you in. Fine, fuck it. Don't care. We'll do it on my own. Like I said, we got to move off this topic. Otherwise, I'm going to just keep fucking.
Yeah. There's no such thing as bad press, Travis. However, I guess I will be devil's advocate here. That, hey, if you open up a restaurant and, you know, this guy comes in with no shoes and you don't like that, you can refuse to give them business.
Yep.
So it's if they own the series and they do that, I mean, there's a reason why I don't have any sponsors on my stuff, and there's a reason why I cannot get a press pass, you know, and it's because of my own personal views, and, you know, that's fine. They can do just as you, they can prevent me from going to the races, but they can't prevent me from posting and having an opinion.
Yep.
You know, so that's where we're at right now.
Let's be honest. They're not going to prevent us from going to the races. If we want to spend our money to go to the races, they're going to take our money, no problem.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, whatever. Like I said, that's a rant that I could go on for hours and hours, but I know I've only got you for a few more minutes here.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's something to talk about. We could do a whole off-season show about how they don't like you and us, okay? Because as I'm sure you've heard, they're scared of all of us. So, okay. So next question for you: who wins a second race first, Sexton or Mosman?
Craig is going to take it all the way. If he didn't get taken out, you know, And truthfully, that whole deal, I didn't think that it was a takeout on Hunter. It was the track design. I thought that was just a scary. Like, I hate these 90-degree corners.
Mm-hmm.
They really need to be big sweeping corners. So guys actually have to kind of, from both the inside and the outside, they actually have to brake. They can't just come anyway. Unless something happens to Craig, Mosiman is not going to win again. So by answering your question on that, Sexton has proven that he's been the fastest guy a few times. The dude looks like he's 200 pounds. Looks like he's perfect for that 450. Yeah, if I was a betting man, which I am, I would say Sexton all day, every day. If you put him up against with Mosiman, I did like seeing Mosiman win. Great kid, bright future. If he can keep it on two wheels. But nope, to answer your question, Sexton.
So let me tell you why I'm 50-50 on Craig winning this title. The heat race. We saw him get a kind of start, be right in the middle of everyone, and then make some dumb fucking moves to try to get to the front because, in my opinion, there was attitude, and again, I think it was against Freeze at that point, too. There was attitude of, I'm the guy, I'm supposed to be up front, get the fuck out of my way. And it almost ended up costing...
That's exactly why he's going to win the series.
But
you look at anybody, McGrath, Carmichael, Villapoto, Dungy, Jason Lawrence, they all have that same attitude. You need to have that attitude.
You need to have that attitude,
and that's why
but you can't race the way... I wasn't impressed with the moves he made in the heat race. Let me put it that way. And the moves he made in the heat race gave me the attitude, or gave me the thought and the perception that the attitude he has is that he is supposed to be that guy. And with Craig here, I worry that it's going to bite him in the ass, as we've seen time and time and time again. That's my thought.
He got lucky being on the West Coast and not having Jet racing him. And he got lucky. I hate to say this. He got lucky that Nichols got hurt, and hopefully he has a speedy recovery, because that is super unfortunate what he had. But he's racing against a lot of guys that are a lot less mature when it comes to racing, and he's got one thing that nobody can touch, and it's his ability to use a whoop section as a straightaway. And unless they come out with a joker lane for everyone else to just ride around the whoops, he's going to win the series. That's just what's going to happen, Travis. Call me Nostradamus. He's fucking winning it. The dude came from last to third. If he would have won the damn race, if he would have had the full 20 minutes.
He came from last to third, but who the fuck did he pass? The only person he passed that
there's really nobody in
was Shimoda. I mean, and then by the time he got to those guys, or he got into third, he was 20-some seconds down from the other two. So, like, there was no... He couldn't have started the race with a 20-second head start. So, all right, man. Anything else?
But yeah, he's consistently a second and a half, or I would say half a second to a second and a half faster than the rest of the field.
Yeah.
Which is a huge, on a minute-long track, what is that, a 5% performance gap. That's basically like you're running race fuel and everyone's running pump type shit, or you're the only guy with the big bore kind of a thing.
Yeah.
He's got if he fucks up, and like what you're was just saying, if he does something and fucks up, it will take him out of
Here's where I could see him. This is the last thing I'll say about it, because I know you got to go, buddy, because I know you said 45 minutes, so we're here. Here is...
Yeah, we're at 40 minutes.
Okay, all right.
I got a little bit more time.
All right. So here is where I think he fucks up, and it's the one wild card in this West Coast series, Vince Freeze. I think...
I thought Vince Freeze raced him fairly clean.
I mean, it's fairly clean, but here's the thing. so far. But again, we saw round 1 was really, really clean. Like, he got by Vince and just went. Then we get into round 2. They weren't really around each other, so whatever. And now we're in round 3, and you see in the heat race, he's running Vince high, which is not going to sit well with Vince. And then you see in the main event, him and Vince basically playing chicken at the top of the fucking berm. I mean, in my opinion here, this is what makes me nervous of it's only a matter of time before he does something fucking stupid and either hits the dag or gets into it with Freeze and ends up with a broken bike so he can't finish the race. And then all of a sudden everything's going to get way, way, way more tight at the top because he's not going to be, and hopefully it doesn't result in an injury because that's not what I want. I don't want to see him get injured, but he needs to be smarter with it. That's my only point to all of this. Is like, dude, you got to be smarter. If you're in the heat in the first lap and you're trying to rub Vince Freeze off the top of the berm to like make a pass into second or whatever for that heat race, like, come the fuck on, dude. You're 28 years old. Like, you've been around enough. That's a dumb move. Just go get to the whoops. You'll blast by him. No problem. So that's my only concern there.
Unless they've got like a crappy whoop section.
Yeah.
Or something. That'll be his downfall. I do agree. He needs to stay away from Freeze. Freeze, hard to pass, and dude, he was racing for a podium. I had some small little disagreement with Cooksey about the whole deal. And same thing with Coach. You know, they didn't like my opinion on it. But I love those guys. He going for a podium. He didn't take him out. You know, he didn't bogle him or bam him or Ryan Breeze him. You know, he just kind of ran him a little bit high. But yeah, I do concur. I do agree. No, see, I just said the same word twice. That he needs to stay away from Freezy, and the only way to do that is just get a start ahead of him.
Yeah. Okay, so one last thing then I guess I'll touch on here since we got a few more minutes with you. Dude, this 450 points race. I have said it, and I just want your thoughts on this. So Tomac is notorious for bad Januaries, right? He's gone like 6-4-2, and he is leading the points. Webb is also a notorious, we'll call it slow starter. Usually it takes him till round 3 or 4 to really kind of wake up and start going. He is second in points, 1 point down, and the top 10 are 14 points separated. And as we've seen here, the top 10 can flip flop week to week. So, do you have a guess as who's going to win this title? Because the winner in all of this is us as fans, because you have Webb's in a good spot and Eli's in a good spot. And we're 3 races in, because usually by now Eli's 25 points down, and we're like, oh, is he going to rattle off 10 in February and March or what? And he's got the red plate at round 3. This is wild. It's a wild year, man.
Yeah. No. Well, I was saying that Dylan Fernandez was going to win. You know, if anybody that follows me, that's who I thought was going to win. And
yeah, that was about the stupidest thing that's come out of your mouth this year. I'm sorry to say.
I still, with just 3 rounds of 17, the dude has proven that he's one of the fastest.
Yes.
He just is missing the whole confidence thing.
No, he can't.
I said,
he can't get a start,
that
Johnny.
Whole 30%.
And
where do starts come from, Travis?
Well, confident. Okay, all right. Fair point.
Like when you line up on the gate and you're like, I'm fucking gonna get an inch ahead of you, and I'm just going to move over on your ass, and you're going to have to brake. Like, I got this fucking in the bag,
Yep.
That's all confidence. And, like, look at Webb. The dude gets good starts.
Yep.
Gets good starts. So I was really surprised that Tomac, finding himself in second late in the race. This is the dude that has got another gear when it comes to having your heart pegged at 200. You somehow find a way to continue to get faster as the race goes on, and I was really surprised that he didn't chase Sexton down.
Yeah.
And on the podium, there's a lot of heat going on between the Yamaha guys and the HRC guys. There's a bunch of there's a war going on between who's the top dog on those teams, and Anderson, he had it easy because AC took himself out, from the get go.
Yeah.
And so by default, he was the number one guy on the team. And Tomac and Dylan, they haven't really figured out who's the top guy on the team. And so I think it could flip either way between those guys. And Sexton is obviously trying to prove to Kenny that I'm the best guy on the team. And, Kenny'd be winning this shit if he didn't have as much bad luck as the dude has. I mean, we might as well just start calling him Canard. I hate to say that, but it sucks to see happen, because if you look at this race, if Kenny wasn't taken out by Anderson and Anderson ended up still having the bike problems, Kenny would be in a good position in points and, would have been third or second in the race too. But instead, what did he finish, seventh? It's crazy what this points are. So, I don't know who is going to win, to completely answer your question, Travis, because there's 7 guys that can win the championship. So there, as a fan, I want to just come with the person that I would like to see win the most. And personally, for me, that would be the Frenchman, Dylan Ferrandis. And so, yeah, it's not a very popular view. Some things have to happen in order for him to get that confidence boost. But if it does, it could be a runaway like he did in outdoors. So who do you think is going to win?
Right now, I am a toss-up between Webb and Tomac. Those guys are just... Dude, I mean, with everything that's happened, and Webb was sick as shit apparently last week and everything, and dude, those guys are 1 and 2. Webb is always a shark in the water, so if he's close, we all know that once we go east, he's going to start to turn it on. And again, like I said, we all know that Tomac is... January he's terrible in. Let's just face it. He's terrible. He usually leaves January, if he's lucky, he's only 15 points down, and he's leading the points right now going into the last race of the month. So yeah, I got one of those 2 guys. Dylan, in my opinion, is super fast. I mean, super fast. However,
it's a dumb pick. You can just say that it's like you said earlier. It's a dumb pick.
No. The only thing that holds him back, and if you go back and listen to our shows, me and Justin have been literally screaming at each other about this, is his starts. He does not get good starts. Now in outdoors, it doesn't hurt him as bad.
Fix.
But in indoors, he cannot seem to figure it out. And this isn't a 450 thing. He wasn't good on the 250 either. But the 250, he made it happen more. As we all know, you're racing half the dudes, so you can get away with it a little bit more, whatever. He is just not a good starter, man. Not good. I mean, even Tomac had a good start last night, and he started third. That's not usually what we talk about when we talk about good starts. Usually it's a hole shot. So I don't know. I heard that the Yamaha guys were out, and that was all they were working on was starts last week. But
you have to pick one guy.
I'm going to go with Tomac right now, man.
Okay. That's
just
safe bet.
Just knowing the behind-the-scenes stuff that went on with him going to that team, the pay cut he took, going there because Gilly's there, who does their chassis work, because he knew he could set the bike up, knowing he would have freedom with the bike they didn't have with Kawasaki. I think, and again, now we've seen Tomac get more patient as the years have gone on here, and not be quite so beast mode Tomac, more of a, okay, let's settle in and let's get this third place tonight and let's move on to the next round instead of hitting the deck and not finishing or, getting a 17th or something. And I think we're really seeing it now. I mean, like I said, you're talking 6-4-2, and last night in second place, and probably has the speed to go after Sexton at some point and make a push, but just going, you know what? Third race, second place, no problem.
No, that's a safe bet. But the dude behind him, who was the guy behind him?
Dylan.
Dylan Ferrandis. Dylan Ferrandes.
Yeah, but Dylan got a halfway decent start. He started like 10th instead of 16th last night. So,
and he ended up third.
Yeah,
so,
but
I think it's just going to be very interesting the rest of the series. I mean, the dude that's the points leader is Eli Tomac, and he qualified ninth. See, even
Stupid dogs.
Your dog disagrees with you,
dude. I know.
He doesn't agree with the Tomac pick.
Hey guys, quiet. There's nothing to bark at. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the winner in all this, like I said, is us, because if we get 5-6 rounds in here and the top 10 are still within 10 points of each other, holy shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, nobody got hurt. Let's just hope none of these guys get hurt.
Yeah, let's just keep it moving in that direction too. So, well, all right, Johnny, I've now kept you past the 5 minutes I was promised there, so I do appreciate you coming on, buddy. Thank you. Make sure to check out Johnny's YouTube channel. It's Johnny Hopper, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You might have a full laugh, and leave a comment, because I do try to get back with everybody, even the people that make me cry. So.
Oh, Johnny, we got to talk about that, man. You can't be crying. Look, if you think
I've got a different opinion on that, but
man, no. If you think you're gonna cry over YouTube comments, you just gotta tell them, hey, go fuck yourself, and then just move on, man. That's just what I do.
Oh, there's a fine line between love and hate. I think generally people that they just don't quite understand you, So I don't think it necessarily comes from wanting harm of anybody.
Yeah.
So. But that's just perspective, Travis. I appreciate you having me on, my friend, and I need to figure out, we can try to do like a Zoom or something so that I'm not on my AirPod Pros here, so I don't sound quite underwater, so I could use some of my fancier, more expensive equipment to make your quality sound better for having me on a guest. So I do apologize for have it lower in your quality standards for your podcast, my friend. But I do want to say you're doing a great thing, dude, and just keep it WFO, and we'll get together some more.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. Well, in all fairness, it sounds just fine to me, but apparently my ears are bad to some people. So, and yeah, maybe we can do a Zoom or something at some point with like the audio only, because I did the Zoom with the video on Cooksies last week, and it was not working great. So
yeah, Zoom only lets you record at 720, which is effing stupid. It's like, guys, it's 2022. Like, there's such a thing as 4K.
Yeah,
like, come on, no. Anyway, sorry, I'm.
No, you're good. You're good.
Talking about stupid shit.
I'm just waiting for that Starlink internet, because I kind of live in the middle of nowhere out here, so I don't have.
Oh yeah.
I don't have good internet, so I have to do everything off cell service. And being in a metal pole barn where we film all this stuff and record all this stuff, yeah, it makes a little tricky. So, but anyway, thanks, man. I appreciate it. We will talk soon, man. And who knows? You never know when I'll show up somewhere where you're at.
Hell yeah, homie.
So, all right, buddy. We'll talk later. Give my best to the wife and kid.
Will do. You too, man. I appreciate it.
Will do. Later, buddy.